Morning, everyone. This is the ICBA Daily Morning News for today, Wednesday, October the 4th, 2023. I'm going to give you a heads up today on CMHC's latest housing analysis, kind of some head-scratching comments in there. Alberta's latest skirmish with the Trudeau government. It wouldn't be a day without talking about that. And some concerns over innovation. As always, for links to the sources, please visit our blog, icbaindependent.ca. We post the media links here on Facebook, but we can't because of the Trudeau government's foolish online News Act. All right. I don't know if you're out there, but if you've got a spare $1 trillion laying around, CMHC wants to talk to you. That's right. The Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation says it will take $1 trillion to restore housing affordability nationally, as 3.5 million more units than planned are needed by 2030. We've talked about this stat quite a bit at ICBA. Basically, since 1970s, the early 70s, about 220,000 houses have been built every single year in Canada. Some years you might get as high as 250,000, some years less than 220, but it's around 220,000 homes. And now to get to a housing affordability by 2030, the experts say we need more than 800,000 homes. So where are those extra 550,000, 600,000 homes every single year going to come from? Now, ridiculously, and this is like head scratching comment here. Ridiculously, the CMHC in a letter said yesterday that home builders need to, quote, up their game to meet this challenge. Guys, the problem isn't the home builders. The problem is government overregulation, glacially slow permitting, putting construction companies and other small businesses behind the 8 ball with all sorts of taxes, fees, cash grabs, everything you can imagine. And of course, ridiculously high interest rates, which makes it more expensive than ever to pick up a piece of land and develop it. It takes years to get your freaking permit from government in order to build. So, I appreciate what the CMHC is saying that, yeah, obviously you're going to need more home builders, you're going to need more faster processes when you're actually building things. But the actual building of these homes is not the problem right now. The problem is government in the way of the folks who can make it all happen. So CMHC, get out a mirror and look very closely in it and tell your political masters to do the same. All right, moving on to Alberta. Edmonton Journal columnist David Staples looked at how federal Environment Minister Stephen Guilbeault is overstepping his legislative abilities by trying to force Alberta to accept his no emissions energy grid. Man, pop the popcorn. If you like Alberta history, read this Staples column in the Edmonton Journal. It's fantastic. Quote, Ottawa has no legal right to put a chokehold on how Alberta manages its electrical grid, but that's exactly what Guilbeault is doing with his plan to force a net zero grid on Alberta and other provinces by 2035. He wants to spell out the rules, the Constitution be damned, unquote. Great line, very fair assessment of what's going on, and one of the reasons why Premier Danielle Smith is pushing back so hard on this. She's not saying never to net zero. She's saying 2050 is a much more realistic date in order to meet this goal, not 2035. Anyway, Staples says that Premier Smith should use her Alberta Sovereignty Within a United Canada Act to shove back. Seems like that's where we're headed if Guilbeault doesn't back down, or isn't defeated soon enough to force this on Alberta. Finally, Desjardins, they looked at Canadian innovation and found that, well, there isn't much. Quote, Canada lags the G7 and much of the OECD in innovation and productivity and has for some time. This has been the leading cause of stagnation in real GDP per capita over the past decade and is putting Canada's high standard of living at risk. Canada's patchwork of innovation policies has proven ineffective at closing the innovation gap with other countries. And even though the federal government has focused, and I put focused kind of in italics, like focus, have they focused? Has focused on innovation since 2015, it has failed to close or even maintain the gap with Canada's international peers. At best, it has merely slowed the decline. Again, I'm not sure the Trudeau government has done all that much on innovation. They like saying the word, they like putting in budget docs. I don't think a lot's coming through. Anyways, Desjardins says the situation is dire and government must show real leadership now. Quote, the living standards of all Canadians today and in the future depend on it. Guys, what could go wrong on a Wednesday here in October 2023? Government's going to solve our innovation gap and we'll all be fine and be able to hold our standard of living. And if you believe that, I've got a bridge in Brooklyn I'd like to sell you. I don't know, like, trying to depend on government in order to solve an innovation gap does not seem like a great idea. What government needs to do is get out of the way and let the entrepreneurs, the innovators, the investors, those who produce in Canada, let them get their feet under them and let them go and build these companies and build these innovative products that will power the economy for the future. Right now, the government is a drag on all of that, not a support. So Desjardins put their finger on something here, but I'm not sure that I feel terribly confident about the government being the one to turn the tide on this. Anyways, there's a depressing daily news for October 4th. Hey, thanks for watching. Big night for the Blue Jays. You know, you play 162 baseball games, you get into the playoffs, and you could be out in 2 days. Not great. So hopefully the Jays manage to defeat the Twins and force a deciding third game in the wild card series. I'll be watching for sure. Anyways, take care and have a great day.